Hey, let's talk making love or having sex. And so many of us really, you've had intercourse in a sense, you've had sex, you've never really had intercourse. And I believe you could say, well, maybe you've touched on it, that you've never really made love. People can be, oh, who are you to say that? I don't know. I don't know your circumstances, but I'm talking generally. A lot of people, I guess the story goes that saw somebody recently, just a couple of days ago, that was a very attractive lady, but had no soul. And I looked at her and I thought, that lady is missing herself. She's missing her identity. And I've grown up in a minister's home. I've been a minister for a lot of years, and I have seen every walk of life. And I want to talk about prostitutes today. I've seen the prostitutes that have come in, and they know about sex, and at some point they may have even had intercourse of such, but never spiritual intercourse. A dirty spiritual intercourse, a demonic spiritual intercourse. They've been used and they've been abused, but they've never had true intercourse. And that's what I want to touch on here just briefly. And I don't want to condemn, like that lady I saw the other day, and she, probably an absolutely beautiful lady, but being so abused by life. And I think there's so many, and I'm going to talk about ladies because I'm a man, and I believe men too have the same problem. Sex is fun. They have sex. They think sex is a connection, and it is a connection, but it brings about a soul tie, an unclean soul tie. And you always know the people that you've had sexual union with, because there's always that tie there. Until it's broken spiritually and until God breaks that tie, you'll always feel a connection, and it's an unclean connection if you're really honest and able to connect to that. But making love is different. And I've met some ladies that have had a lot of sex. I've met men that have had a lot of sex and they've never made true love. It's, oh, I was in love with that person. No, you weren't, because you were never in love with yourself. You've been in so many beds, you've been in so many relationships and things, because, and they don't work out, and it's always somebody else's fault. But the reality of it is, you don't love yourself because you don't know you're loved. And until you know that God loves you, and until you're able to surrender to that love, you will never know what true making love is, truly making love. So when you have sex, people are having sex because they like the feeling. So it's all about them. I like this feels great. For women, maybe they like feeling safe. They like feeling needed, wanted. They do things they should never be doing. And it ends up being lust-based. Things that are there that really are an abuse of the other person, the abuse of the woman, not loving that woman. You're not, when it's intercourse, you're not expecting her to do some of the things that they want them to do nowadays. But when it's making love to someone, and I want to say, I don't care how many people you've had sex with, if you're never made love, true spiritual love, you're an abused virgin. Because true love, making love with somebody, is when it is all that I am, my very essence, I'm surrendering to you in a completely safe place, knowing that I won't be abused. And they're saying everything that I am, I'm completely surrendering into you. And at that moment, you are becoming completely them, and they are becoming completely you. But not in an abusive way, but in a way of saying, I'm safe here. And that's why that's a true marriage. And many people are in partnerships, they have sex, and sex is a weapon. Sex is a currency. Sex is something they have to get things done or to get something done. They need that feeling. Well, I do this for him because, I know it makes him feel good. That's not what sex should be. I mean, I get it, that'll happen, and sex is there, and it's something that a lot of people enjoy. But like the case of this woman and many other women that I've actually talked to in the past, men too, but women particularly, it becomes a currency to them, and men too. I can't differentiate really, but a lot of women have allowed themselves to be completely abused because that man looks muscular, that man has an image, that man is something wonderful that they need, they want, they're insecure, but they've never known true love. where that man is saying, I don't need you. I love sex, I enjoy sex, but I don't need you. I'm surrendering all of my masculinity, all of who I am into you at this moment. And I know that you are surrendering everything of that woman, of who you are, into my spirit and soul at that moment. And now we are merged in a pure love that's before our God, not a demonic. And if you really want to get honest, most sex is psychopathic in nature. A woman is using it to get what she needs, and he is using it to get what he needs, if people can get truly honest. So that is not sexual union. That is not intercourse. It's true spiritual intercourse that brings two. The Bible talks about two becoming one. And so I think that how do you get that? By surrendering. And I think we surrender firstly to our Creator. To firstly say, God, I have been used. I have abused. I need to get out of this. And there's many people that are in wrong sexual unions, a soul tie. It's almost a dirty union because they're compromising who they are. Has got them in places they shouldn't be, with people they shouldn't be with, in alliances and agreements they should never have made. And it takes somebody with a lot of courage to stand up and say, I'm in the wrong place because this is not completing me. I am complete, but when I'm with that one, the two become one. I am not you and you are not me. I can see where you begin and where I end, and where I end and where I begin with you. Then that's not how it is spiritually. When there's a spiritual union, you say, I see you and I see you have your own identity and completeness, but I don't know where I begin and where I end with you. That is what most people will never experience in their life. That is what I believe is a true soulmate. Someone that God has put in your life that feels safe, that you can take that journey with. And think of the intimacy of that, to be with that person for the first time. They're not looking for you for sex. They're looking for you because there's no reason. You're just a fragrance. You're just beautiful. You're just everything you should be. You look and say, but I'm in all this mess of my life, but they're looking beyond that like God does with us. And he says, I want that union with you because I love you. And there's no reason for that love. Even when you fail, even when you're off somewhere else, I love you. And then ultimately when we respond to that love, we feel safe, and it gets to a point we feel, well, I'm not good enough. Well, I can't give that. That's the point. There's nothing you can do that's good enough. But you've got to look beyond that and say, I could surrender to you because I know it's safe. You seem to understand me. You seem to be spiritually drawn to me, and I feel spiritually drawn to you. And that's where sexual union comes. And I've had, even lately, women that have sort of propositioned, they feel the heart in some of my videos of what I'm saying, and then it becomes, well, I want this guy, and I get messages of like, let's be together, come to my house, I'll come to your house, these sort of things. And I pull back and I'm like, you just don't get what I'm saying. This is not something you can create. This is not something you can own. This is not something you can take possession of. This is something you surrender to. And it's taking the decision to say, I am where I shouldn't be. I am doing what I shouldn't be doing with who I shouldn't be with, and I've created something here that needs to be addressed. And then it's standing up and saying, the first step of addressing this is to say, I need to be in the right place spiritually, in me. When I am complete in Scott, I'm able to give all that I am to somebody else. But if I need you to complete me, then it's psychopathic. I'm using you. But when I look at you and say, I don't actually need you. In fact, if I want to look naturally, I can look and say there's a lot of things I don't need about you. But you're wonderful. And you're the one. And when that's there, it becomes a merging. A place of just saying, I don't have all the answers, but I'm safe with you. I know you could abuse me and you could run away and you could run off to somebody else, but you're saying, I feel safe with you. That's true sexual union. That's true intercourse that God's made. That's true making love. And I look forward to the day when that right one is there and it's saying, I am going to love you with all of my being and be loved by all of your being for no reason. It's not that you're the most handsome guy in the place, but you're the most handsome or the most beautiful one, in the case of the woman for me. That is something. There's an invitation for all of us. But when we're in a place we shouldn't be, doing things we shouldn't do, we need to make the changes and realise there's better. God bless you.